She gets up before the rest of the house. She prays. She prepares. She shows up early for sound check to lead the congregation into worship with her whole heart. She's present. She's anointed. She's pouring. And then Sunday ends. The building empties and she drives home, still in her Sunday clothes, wondering, why does she feel so alone? This episode is for her. This episode is for you. Are y'all ready for this? Come on. Welcome to The Holistic Worshiper, the podcast for worship leaders who are committed to growing not just in their gift, but in every dimension of who they are. I'm LaRue Howard, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So at this time of filming, we are right in the middle of Mother's Day month, and I knew from the beginning that I wanted to use this season to honor women, specifically women in worship ministry. Because here's what I've seen. We celebrate women in church. We put them on the Mother's Day programs. We give them flowers. We honor them for what they do for everyone else. But how often do we stop and ask, what's going on with them? How are they doing? What's happening on the inside? So today, we're going to go there. We're going to talk about what it really means to be a woman who leads worship. The calling, the cost, the beauty, and the burden. So my prayer is that by the end of this episode, every woman listening feels seen, validated, and equipped to keep going, not out of obligation and duty, but from a place of being known and loved. So let's get started. So I want to start with something that I think doesn't get said enough. The experience of being a woman in worship ministry. It's different. It's not better or worse, but it is definitely different. And after doing this for almost 25 years, I can tell you that is the truth. Pretending otherwise, it doesn't serve us. So women in worship spaces often carry a unique set of pressures. There's the pressure of how we look. Are you too distracting? Are you put together enough? There's also the pressure of how you sound. Are you too emotional? Are you too soft? Are you not powerful enough? There's the question also of authority. Do people actually receive from a woman leading? And depending on the church that you're in and your church's tradition, that question can carry a lot of weight. And then there's the invisible weight. The woman who is leading worship on a Sunday while carrying a miscarriage that no one knows about. The woman who is navigating monthly hormonal shifts that affect her voice, her energy, her emotions, and she has no choice but to show up anyway. The one who is mothering children at home and mothering a worship team at church, and somewhere in between has lost herself. So I want to say this very clearly, that weight is real and you are not weak for feeling it. Let's talk practically for a moment. One of the most common things that I've heard from women in worship ministry is this. I feel like I have to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. And listen, that can be exhausting. So it's like whether your musical suggestions have been dismissed in rehearsal or you've been overlooked for a leadership conversation that happens between your pastor and your male musicians, or even having your emotional leadership style interpreted as instability rather than depth. These are real experiences and they can hurt and leave marks. But here's what I also know, that some of the most powerful worship leaders that I've ever experienced and witnessed have been women. Women who carry intercession and artistry in the same breath. Women who can hold a congregation in a moment of grief and also usher in breakthrough in the same set. That's not weakness, that's a gift. So, how do you lead well in spaces that don't always make room for you? Here are a few thoughts. So, first, know who you are before you walk into that room. Your identity cannot be determined by whether or not the room receives you. You have to know that you have been called, anointed, and appointed in this season. So root yourself in your calling privately so that the public resistance doesn't move you. Second, find your people. Every woman in ministry needs at least one other woman in ministry who she can be completely honest with. And it doesn't have to be a mentor relationship or a formal accountability structure or anything like that. Just a friend, a co laborer who gets it. And third, advocate for yourself with grace. You don't have to shrink back, you don't have to perform, but you do have to use your voice in conversations with leadership, in how you structure and build and develop your team, in what you will and will not accept. Now, I want to talk about something that we almost never discuss in ministry circles: women's health, physical health, hormonal health, emotional health, all of those things. Your body is not separate from your ministry. It's the instrument through which your ministry flows. And if you're not tending to your body well, it will eventually tell you, whether through burnout, illness, vocal damage, anxiety, or a crash that takes you off the platform almost entirely. Listen, that was almost my story. For women in ministry specifically, there are some things worth naming and talking about. Hormonal cycles affect your energy, your voice quality, and emotional capacity. This is not an excuse, it's simply biology. And knowing your body well enough to adjust your preparation, your rest, your expectations around those cycles is wisdom, not weakness. Vocal health for women has its own nuances. Hormonal shifts during your time of the month or during pregnancy, during postpartum seasons, and even during perimenopause and menopause can affect the voice significantly. And if you don't have a vocal coach or an ENT who understands the female voice in the ministry context, I encourage you to find one. Listen, you are worth that investment. And emotionally, I want you to ask yourself honestly, who do you process with? Who knows what's actually going on with you? Because the emotional labor of leading worship week after week, holding other people's worship experiences, absorbing the spiritual atmosphere of a room, interceding through music, that takes a lot. It can take a toll on you, but it also needs to be replenished. You need to be replenished. I have to take a specific moment to honor the mothers in worship ministry, the women who prepare set lists and pack school lunches in the same morning. You lead Sunday worship, and then you come home to referee your siblings arguing and fighting, and you help with homework. The woman who pours out publicly and then pour out privately and somehow find the capacity to keep going. I see you. The church sees you. And more importantly, God sees you. Motherhood does not diminish your calling. It deepens it. The patience, the selflessness, the ability to love unconditionally, those things don't stay at home when you walk onto the platform. They show up in how you lead. They show up in how you hold space. They are part of what makes your worship leading so rich. And to the women who are leading without children, whether by choice or by circumstance or by season, you are no less. Your calling, is no less. Your presence in the worship space is valuable and it's necessary. The holistic worshiper is not defined by any one role. She is defined by her wholeness. As we close today, I want to leave you with this. The woman who leads worship is not just a voice. She's not just a gift or a talent. She is a whole person with a story, with a body, with a hormonal cycle, a family, a private life, with a wound or two, and with a calling that is absolutely, without question, from God. Honor that woman. Take care of that woman. And if no one is around you doing it, then you start by honoring and taking care of yourself. You are seen and you are loved. Thank you for being a part of the Holistic Worshiper community. If this episode was a blessing to you, please share it with a sister, a friend, a woman in ministry who needs to hear it. And also leave us a review, subscribe wherever you're listening, and come back because we have something incredibly special that's coming. We're going to honor one of the generals of praise and worship, a rare conversation that I had the opportunity to have with the late Dr. Ron Canoli. We're going to talk about legacy, about spiritual mothers and fathers who shaped worship, and about what it means to carry the sound forward. Listen, you don't want to miss it. So until then, lead well, live whole, and know that you are more than your ministry. You are a child of God. Love you much. See you soon.